Welcome to Parking Talks. Today we will be discussing the topic of safety and security in parking. As these aspects become more important in general, we wanted to know the impact on the parking industry. We have Martin from Project W and Dennis from Commend on hand to share their insights. Martin, can you tell us about how Project W adds to safety and security in parking?
We are a producer or manufacturer of a special car safety barrier for car parks in the whole Europe. And we meet all standards in the Europe, and we protect the cars to not fall down from the car park and make stress with pedestrian or walking persons around the car park.
And Martin, how important do you feel safety and security are when it comes to parking?
For us, it is the most important thing for the people in the car itself, but also the people or pedestrian walking past the car park. They are never directly involved.
Dennis, we know that Commend specializes in intercom and security communications. How important do you feel safety and security are when it comes to parking?
I feel it's very important because the topic is about people in parking garages, and I see that if you compare it to just the building and the cars and the fact that all the legislations are actually designed just for the building and the cars and not necessarily for the people in there, I feel that safety is a underestimated topic in the parking market landscape. So this is why we have taken the initiative to really underline the fact that there's legislation possible to support the full process of safety within the parking. And this also corresponds to the fact that often the parking itself is not something that is standalone, but also pretty close to an airport or a shopping mall or other big places or big offices that also have a safety related application. And you can perfectly blend that into the parking environment. It's just common sense.
And Martin, how do you think the consumer expectation of safety and security have evolved over the last few years?
In terms of speed and weight of vehicles, the requirements have increased in our view. They always want more security, that nothing happens to them. For example, an accident in Berlin with a SUV, immediately a topic of conservation area security.
And has this changed the way you work at all?
Honestly, not all, as luckily we recognized the trends years ago and our interior can absorb the required loads.
Dennis, what do you think people's perception of safety in parking is?
The way people perceive safety in parking, currently they mostly see the low threshold fire-related need for safety, while it could hugely benefit everybody involved in the parking landscape, so operators, building owners, everybody involved, to become aware of the fact that there are reliable tools and also gear to be implemented in a way that you can instruct people, and having great tools available to display any information, to follow up any incident, and to provide necessary means to really step up and make sure that the parking market is really aware of human safety and also about the role that they play in the smart city landscape.
And what's the evolution of consumer demand been like in your view? Dennis?
If I look at the market demands, we see a need for end users to simplify all the sensors and technology. They prefer to have it on one single station. And what I also see is that the legislation is looking for ways to provide additional applications to traditional markets. So if I take, for example, a parking where you have a fire alarm installed, the end users as well as the legislators are now looking for ways to introduce other devices to improve the safety of people within parking. So if you look at mobile apps, if you look at displays, if you look at other devices that are quite common today, people will look for ways to maximize the safety and security of visitors using different technologies than they did over the past 20 years.
And how has your technology adapted to address changes in consumer demand?
Well, technology has changed. If I look at where we have started, we have been active in the parking market for quite some time now. And if I look at the way that we were implemented in the past, it was just voice communication. And the fact that we had very good intelligible conversations with these two-way stations that we have, so listening and hearing, is one feature that was very popular. But today we see a need for displays showing other types of information. So not only instructing people about the problem that they make a call for, the information that they want to collect by just pressing the intercom button, but also a display showing them instructions or giving them information as an addition to these type of applications.
And can you give us some examples of projects where safety and security have been key? Let's start with you, Martin.
In any project, no matter in which country, we have the most important feature that no vehicle and pedestrians can fall out of the car park and endanger occupants and pedestrians. Although in Europe the same cars drive almost everywhere, are there still too many different norms or perspectives of the countries? In Belgium, where it is more important to these countries in the standard that no cube 2 by 2 centimeters can fall out instead of a car. Unfortunately, the practice shows that, in spite of applicable standards, care is not taken everywhere. Unfortunately, there are still enough cases where cars fall out of a car park, where either old standards were still valid, or you simply did not put much emphasis of the fall protection in the planning.
And Dennis, what projects have you undertaken?
We have a variety of applications where we see that the use of displays, for instance, is very important. So if you look at the markets in Asia, you see the application of display stations and the introduction of own devices in the parking applications quite often. If you look at other market segments, you see that the investments in smart city environments often leads to the need of sharing information. So this is where you see the connectivity of things and the IoT environment emerging. So this is where we see applications with our display stations to show third-party information. Other applications that we have met are within control rooms. So we implement on the operator side an application to help guide them through the steps on how to follow up an incident. And this is where incident response analysis is the foundation behind a very keen follow-up from the operator side. And this also means that we have implemented projects with actual conversation recordings, loggings of the full incident, and also giving the tools to really make use of these evaluations and learn from maybe minor incidents so that the customers can help and implement these in various ways. So what we see is a variety of applications depending from country to country and legislation to legislation on how far people will take these safety applications. But they are so versatile that it's not quite common to just name 2 or 3. It's really a lot that we have.
Well, thank you both for joining us and for your valuable insight on this evidently important topic in parking. Don't forget that the full transcripts will be available to read soon on parking-net.com. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.